Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner. And today we're going to be investigating the discography of the great UK Neo Prog band IQ. Yeah, they were one of the foundational Neo Prog bands, right up there with 12th Night, Marillion, Solstice, Jadis, all those bands. They formed in 1981. And if you look at the very first photograph of Radiohead, you see a poster of IQ in the background. I always thought that was cool. But who is the band? Well, originally it was founded in 81 after a band called The Lens broke up. Mike Holmes, the guitar player, and Martin Orford, the keyboard player, both came from The Lens. They recruited singer Peter Nichols, bass player Tim Esau, and drummer Paul Cook. No, not that Paul Cook, the other one. There we go. That's the right one. And they put out a demo called 7 Stories into 8, which kind of got them noticed. They put their first album out in 1983, and Peter Nichols left after 2 albums. He was replaced by Paul Menel, who sang on 2 albums, and then Peter Nichols comes back. And this time Tim leaves the band and John Jowett takes over on bass. The great John Jowett, who Martin Orford had played with in Jadis. That same lineup existed forever. Subterranea, 7 into 98, the 7th House in Dark Matter. So that was a good long chunk. I guess John was in the band like for 19 years. And then with Frequency, we've got a couple of lineup changes. The great Andy Edwards takes over on drums. You know him from his YouTube channel. Just awesome. And on keyboards, Mark Westworth. He was only on for 1 album. They were both only on for that 1 album. And then Road of Bones came out, and you had the final change. You got Neil Durant on keyboards, and Paul Cook comes back on drums. So you got 4 out of 5 of the original members. I guess Martin Orford is retired. He's done with the music business, but whatever, man. IQ is awesome. They're a band that I've always liked from their very first album. Yeah, the 2 with Paul singing weren't great, but let's get into their discography, shall we? They've got 12 albums out, so we're going to start with number 12, and it is Nomzamo from 1987. This was the first album with Paul Menel on vocals, and the first album also on a major label. So, Polygram wanted some hits. Absolutely they did, and they tried with a song called Promises. Just didn't work out. There are a couple decent songs on here. Human Nature is good. Common Ground is good. The production on this thing is actually great, but the songs just kind of let it down. 1987 was not a good time at all. At number 11, yeah, it's the one that came out right after it, the second Paul Menel album, Are You Sitting Comfortably from 1989. I'm putting this slightly ahead of its predecessor, primarily because of the 10-minute prog epic Worange, I think it's pronounced. It's a great song. I really like it, but honestly, there's not a whole lot else on there. War Heroes is cool, Falling Apart at the Seams, but they were definitely trying to go commercial here, trying to get a hit, and it just didn't work. At number 10, we're going to 1998 and the 7 Stories into 98, which was reworkings of their original demo, done with the new lineup. Yeah, it sounds pretty good because when you buy the CD, the second disc is the original demo, which sounds just awful in retrospect. There are a couple of classic IQ tunes on here. Obviously, Intelligence Quotient, kind of their theme song, right? Fascination's good, and It All Stops Here is really good. Just not really good all the way through. At number 9, this is an album a lot of people love. It's the 7th House from 2000. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's something about this record that keeps me from loving it, even though The Wrong Side of Weird is really cool. The 7th House is great. Guiding Light is great. And, you got such great musicianship on this record, but some of the songs just don't quite click with me, and I know I'm going to get killed for that opinion. But at number 8, let's go with their second album, The Wake, from 1985. You got that Quest for Fire album cover, which is cool. I guess Peter Nichols does most of the artwork for the IQ albums, at least the ones that he sings on. Yeah, you've got some really classic tracks, though, on the way to Outer Limits, Magic Roundabout, and of course the classic Widow's Peak, which they still play in concert. Just amazing, just awesome. Here's another one that a lot of people score really, really high. I've got it at number 7. It's Ever from 1993. This was their return to form where Peter Nichols came back in the band and Martin Orford and some people put together a new record company called Giant Electric P or something like that, GEP, and it was intended to, be Ever was going to be the first release on that label. I think maybe there was a Jadis album that came out first, but whatever. Ever is a lot of people's favorite IQ album. I do know this. It is definitely a return to form after those two Paul Menel albums. The Darkest Hours is on here. Great track. Further Away is fantastic. Fading Senses is really good. Yeah, Ever is a good album, but I'm telling you, they would get better and better as time goes on with that second Peter Nichols era. At number 6, here's an example of it. It's Subterranea from 1997. This is a double album, tells a real convoluted story that I don't even understand, but who cares when the songs are this good? Tunnel Vision, Somewhere in Time, but to me, what makes this album really sing is that final song, The Narrow Margin. Just unbelievable, so good, I love it. At number 5, I've got a weak spot for the debut, I really do. What can I say? Let's go with the Tales from the Lush Attic from 1983. Just a cool record. Yeah, the production is not great on this thing at all, but it's got the classic original vibe. It's got some really amazing songs, not least of which are the opening track and the final track. The Last Human Gateway opens this thing up in such a great fashion. What an amazing epic. And the album ends with The Enemy Smacks, which is a great, great song, one of my favorite IQ tunes. But now we're into the top 4, right? Yeah. And if you've noticed, it's the 4 most recent. So I definitely have a recency bias going on with IQ. Absolutely I do. At number 4, it's their most recent one, Resistance from 2019. This was a double album. Their 2 latest records, are they double albums or is it just something that the label does to give you a bonus disc? Either way, the bonus disc on this is every bit as good as the first disc, so I include them on equal footing. You've got a Missile, For Another Lifetime, and then on that bonus disc, you've got The Great Spirit Way and Fallout. This is just an amazing record. Yeah, hopefully there'll be some new IQ material soon, because, if The Resistance is their last album, they went out with a bang, but it's not going to be their last album. Absolutely not. At number 3... it's Frequency from 2009. This was the one with Andy Edwards on it. This is one with Mark Westworth on it. If you think about it, Andy Edwards and John Jowett, they've got a new band. They put out 2 albums called Rain. Real good. It's like Andy Edwards is trying to reinvent prog here. But let's talk about Frequency for a minute, shall we? It's so good, man. Stranger Than Friction, Riker Skies, The Province, Closer. Just a phenomenal album. They really got their act together here. And this is kind of my sweet spot. This one and these top 2, my favorite IQ records. At number 2, I went back and forth between these 2, but I'm going with Dark Matter from 2004. I really like this album a lot. Sacred Sound opens it up in much the same way Watcher of the Skies opens up Foxtrot, and then Harvest of Souls closes it out much the same way Supper's Ready closes out Foxtrot. So it is kind of like a Foxtrot mirror. 5 songs, 52 minutes, and it's all amazing. There's not a duff note on Dark Matter. I love it. I thought I'd put it at number 1, but as I re-listened to the IQ albums over the weekend, I realized that my number 1 is the same number 1 Prog Archives has, and it is Road of Bones from 2014. Yeah, this was one that had the bonus disc, but I'm telling you, both disc 1 and disc 2 are equally great. From the Outside In, Without Walls. Oh, come on, man. one of the best songs they ever did until the end. And then on that disc too, you had Constellations, which I absolutely love. Hardcore. There's so much atmosphere, so much cool stuff going on here. Yeah, you got Paul Cook back in the fold. This was Neil Durant's first record with the band on keyboards, but it does stand as my favorite IQ album. But I could make a case for any of those top four. I really could. I really think the last four IQ albums have just been phenomenal. For me, easily the best they've ever done. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I really dig IQ, and I've been waiting to do a ranking of them for a while, and today's the day, so let me know what you guys think. Anyway, have a great weekend. I will see you guys soon. Peace in the Middle East, and God save the King. Save him.